All right, we've got Coach Green here. Go ahead with questions when you're ready.
Shauna, with that first Big Ten win for you guys, and what can that do for you moving forward?
Yeah, obviously, it was a great feeling. It's been a little bit. So, that's the outcome of the past really month of just our practices and how we've been, very process driven, have had great practices, and finally, got our offense clicking, our defense was on point, and we're able to, the big key I think of that game was we were able to come out and have a strong start. And we got that lead in that first battle, which we had really emphasized, and it kind of carried from there. So it's what the team that I thought, we're capable of being and what we were last year. And it was just really great to see. And hopefully now this can springboard us and propel us in to the rest of, this season.
What does that kind of maybe look like for you, just kind of encouraging the team through some struggles that a day like Northwestern was kind of coming?
Yeah, it's like I told you, it's hard. It's frustrating. There's, we all want to win. We all want to have success. We're all so, for me and for our whole staff, just and our team, just to remain positive and continue to believe. That's the most important thing because we know what we're capable of doing. So it's just for me too as a leader to really try to instill and continue to be positive and confidence in them. So. It was good for everyone to have that feeling and get that win, and especially how we won, I thought was really good and much needed for this team.
What have you liked about Camille starting at the 5 and then Kendall going to the 4?
It's been pretty good for us when we've done it, and we'll continue to do that, especially now where just matchup-wise, Rutgers is going to play 2 true 5s. The other night at Northwestern we needed it. And the thing that was great the other day with Hoppy was she produced right away in terms of offensively. She had her first 2 baskets and just kept going from there. And that instilled confidence in us that, hey, we have another scorer. And so really happy with her progression. And she played with a lot of confidence the other day. So we're going to need that going forward. She's going to have to produce like that.
And Bryn coming off the bench, she had a big outing against Nebraska,
Yeah.
right? How's that maybe helping her, even though I'm sure she doesn't like not starting?
Yeah, I've always tried to get kids to understand it's not about who starts the game, and I think even going back to our Dayton days when, Jenna Giacone was our top scorer. She was first team all conference, and I brought her off the bench, and she was the spark we needed, and I knew I was going to get an instant, contributions when she came in. And I think, Jenna's done a great job even talking to Bryn because she was in that same position and just really getting Bryn to understand it's nothing you did, it's just a different look, and Bryn's really, taken to it, and I think it was great. She got a chance to kind of feel the game out, and she was a huge spark in that Nebraska game. I mean, she was huge defensively, blocking shots, urgency all over the floor, then obviously hitting shots. So hopefully she'll, just take that and really take pride in that role of being that spark plug, off the bench.
Shauna, would you say over the last month defensively you guys have been the most connected you've been all year? It just seems like even way before the Northwestern game, you guys were playing good defense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I've been, you guys have heard me, I've been super, super happy with our defense. And I wasn't happy with that early in the year. And that was where I was continuing to push them and challenge them to, to be more locked in, to be more disciplined. And now, shoot, we're guarding people. We're held Nebraska to 56, and I can go down the line. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the Big Ten, we've been holding them. We just haven't been scoring. So finally to surpass 90 points is almost like 3 games worth of what we've been doing. Sure. So it was just a relief to see that ball go through the net.
You talked about wanting to fix the offense after Wisconsin. What do you feel like you guys did against Nebraska or against Northwestern outside of a fast start to kind of take that step to get to those games?
We've been emphasizing it and really practicing, but I think those 2 days going into Northwestern, it was about the discipline and sharing the ball and getting paint touches to kick outs and just getting the ball on, 2 reversals and getting the ball to move side to side. And I thought we did a really good job of that, and we're very intentional. We passed up some good shots and shots we've been taking that I don't have a problem with. We passed those up at Northwestern for great shots and for that 1 more or 2 more passes, and just played really together and connected offensively. I think we've been very connected defensively, but offensively we just haven't had that same togetherness and flow as we had all last year. And watching us on Sunday, I'm like, we're back. This is what we saw last year. So it was really just good to see them playing together. I mean, 25 assists was great on 33 made shots. So Now it's just about continuing to do that. We can't just make it a one-game thing. We got to continue to do that tomorrow, and so on and so forth.
Speaking of the assist side, but when you see, the playmaking side of Makaira come along with that scoring side, what does that kind of mean for you and for her specifically?
Yeah, that was something that I talked to her about going to Northwestern. Obviously all these kids, like we all want to win. Like they're working so hard, they're doing everything they can. And sometimes I think across the board, not just Makaira, across the board, especially when we're not scoring, that it almost leads you to press a little bit more, and then you're trying to maybe create a little too much and take shots that maybe they're not bad, but it's maybe not the best, and again, that's everyone on our team, and it's not to their fault, it's they want to win. So my message to Makaira going in this game was just let the game come to you. And I kind of referenced some of the greats, like Jordan, Kobe, Caitlin Clark, early on in games, they almost always try to set up their teammates first and get them going. And then let the game come kind of organically to you and your offense. Like, don't really worry about your offense. And I thought she had an unbelievable overall floor game, her best of the year. So just, kind of trying to take some of that pressure off these guys.
What are some of the highlights? I'm sorry, go ahead, Brett.
Makaira this year was trying. That might be a little bit of an understatement from her standpoint. Have you seen her since the comeback, and then maybe even early on, handle the adversity she's had to face?
It is. It's a perfect word. It's been challenging. It's been trying. It's been frustrating at times. For all of us. But that's life. And I keep telling them, what are you going to do? Are you going to just give up, or are you going to keep on moving and find ways and be solution driven? So I'm really proud of her. I'm proud of our entire team. She's been through a lot this year. Of just continuing to be resilient and continuing to press forward and continuing to work and continuing to believe, because these are the best lessons that you can get. Basketball is kind of, it's our vehicle, but this is life, and that's why these guys are going to be successful, when they get into the real world, is because they're learning these things that are really hard right now. They're hard for me. So they're hard for 18 to 22-year-olds, but I could not be more proud of how we've stuck together, how we've continued to just work, roll up our sleeves and work, and how we continue to believe.
What are some of the highlights in the scouting report on Rutgers?
They're obviously, they have a lot of new pieces. They want to go into their bigs, so that's going to be a key piece. And rebounding is number one. They're number one in the league in terms of rebounding. We got to keep them off the old boards. That's where they manufacture a lot of their points. So we got to do our job on the boards and in transition. But they're a different team. We played them 3 times last year, but they have a lot of really good transfers that are coming in with some key pieces coming back from last year. So this is a good team.
Well, the old thing about offensive boards is they have to come from misses, but you want to get out in transition. Mm-hmm. So is there a tension there for waiting an extra beat to try and get that board first?
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to box these guys out. You can't start trying to leak out on these guys, because that's literally sometimes their best offense is missing and then getting no boards and putbacks and or fouls. They're also one of the top in the league and getting to the free throw line. So we have to really be disciplined on our box outs and getting them, and they're big. They're big guys, are big bodied. But that's the key. If we can, be there and do our job on the boards, we'll be in a position to win the game in the last 5 minutes, which is always what we want.
Makaira said something interesting about the offense with Hobby, was that when you play the double big, is that the lane is still wide open for driving, because they still have to come out and guard Hobby, and they have to come out and guard KB. Have you found that that's still that's been a pleasant surprise, that the lane's not clogged up and you're not just jacking up shots?
No, and that's a good thing about both of them being able to hit, really from deep. And obviously Hobby hit a 3 the other day. I mean, they're both capable of doing that. So a lot of Hobby's baskets were actually from 15 feet. So if you're scoring and hitting those, yes, we're also sending a lot of ball screens in there to get them. So now they're having to show and then get back to those guys. So you're going to have multiple options, but hopefully that'll continue, because teams have been trying to really pack the paint in for our guards. But now that we're hitting some threes, hopefully that'll also, along with Hobby producing and KB producing, hopefully that'll continue to open up that paint a little bit more.